And right now tonight, a Nelson County School Board member says the other 4 members are planning to vote the district superintendent out of a job. It could happen today. Thank you for joining us here at 5. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard in for Shay. It comes after a change in board leadership and a resignation from the board's attorney over ethical concerns. There's a special meeting of the Nelson County Schools Board of Education tonight. Our Ian Hardwick and photojournalist Jessica Farley are live in Nelson County where that meeting is being held.
And Ian, you've been following this for a couple of weeks now. So what's the board expected to discuss tonight? Could we see the removal of the superintendent?
Doug, we might see that tonight. We're not exactly sure. The meeting's agenda says that they're going to be looking at one of the board's employees for either some sort of approval or it could be a dismissal. There are some people gathered outside here today with signs, some of them carrying them in support of the superintendent. We spoke to one former school board member today who says the board employs very few people, plus they recently had their attorney resign.
The superintendent is really your own employee. Now, they can hire a law firm and you can say, well, you know, I disagree with you, and they may fight you in court, but you always, that person that fights you is always your employee, so you can always do away with it. You know, you can always take their job. Now, am I happy that it's come to this? No, it's embarrassing.
Tracy Bowling, who's currently on the Nelson County Schools Board, says the other 4 members have the votes to dismiss Superintendent Wes Bradley. But another current board member, Diane Berry, told me over the phone that's not something they're considering at the special meeting. Bradley has the support of many teachers and students in the district. Several of them protested the board's plan to merge county high schools back in October. That plan's now stalled, and the district still lacks a consensus on how to manage their facilities.
How are we bettering the education for our kids? Whether that be facilities, whether that be some other plan that comes up, but we've got to find a way to move forward, and we need to stop the political of this.
Before the executive session, the agenda states the board will consider whether to keep the services of their outgoing attorney, Eric Ferris. They'll also consider if they're going to put out a request for his replacement. Ferris resigned at the end of December in a letter sent to the board. He said he was unable to reconcile ethical concerns with them, but he wasn't specific about what those concerns were when we asked him about it over the phone.
Now, we are bringing you team coverage of this special meeting right behind me here tonight. The night team is going to have that for you with photojournalists Addie Hill and Alex Dederer. The line is already out the door with people holding signs for this special meeting tonight. It starts in just a few minutes at 5:30. I'm Ian Hardwick, live in Nelson County, WHAS11 on your side.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. Also today, this morning, lawmakers and office holders were evacuated from the Kentucky State Capitol building in Frankfort after at least one state office holder and several legislative offices received bomb threats today. According to the Kentucky Secretary of State, Michael Adams, he and other lawmakers received threats via email. It read, quote, "I placed multiple explosives inside of your state capitol. The explosives are well hidden inside and they will go off in a few hours. I will make sure you all end up dead." That was the threat sent to the Secretary of State. Now, the threat resulted in this: an increased police presence, canine dogs all over the state capitol property for several hours in Frankfort. But around noon today, the all clear was given and everybody was allowed to return to the building where, of course, the Kentucky General Assembly is underway. By the way, we do know that several other state capitals across the United States were targeted with threats this morning as well. Connecticut, Georgia, Michigan, Mississippi, and Montana were all forced to evacuate their capitol buildings this morning. No evidence of any dangerous items were immediately found in any of those state capitals.
Well, we first told you last year about a new bill that's trying to keep the Commonwealth safe from gun violence. But there's another part of the Safer Kentucky Act that targets camping outside. Alexis Jones and photojournalist Emma Gefter break down the proposal and how it would impact Kentucky.
Since 2022, camping in public spaces has been illegal here in Louisville. Now, lawmakers are trying to crack down on houselessness statewide with the help of the Safer Kentucky Act.
They want to clean the streets up, you know what I mean? But they're going about it the wrong way. They're seeing a mess on the street. They're not seeing the struggle.
A painful reality Joseph Halbert has endured for the last 6 years. Halbert says he's made his way around Jefferson County, living in tents for survival. But now the street camping he and many others depended on is under attack this legislative session. Republican lawmakers plan to sponsor a proposal that would ban street camping throughout the Commonwealth. It's a part of a wide-ranging bill called the Safer Kentucky Act. According to the proposal, people will be guilty of unlawful camping if they enter or remain on public or private spaces with the intention of sleeping there, even if they're resting inside their cars. The first time a person refuses to leave, they will be charged with a Class B misdemeanor, which can lead to fines or jail time. Representative Jason Nemes of Louisville supports the bill. He assures the goal is to support the houseless community.
But while we're trying to help them, they can't just camp out anywhere they want to. So it's not criminalizing homelessness. It's trying to say, let's put together a process to help these folks.
Nemes says the act calls on local governments to create an area where people can camp and receive resources. But the bill doesn't lay out how officials will get funding for the outdoor spaces. It also plans to block funding for Housing First initiatives that provides permanent housing without behavioral or rehabilitative requirements, which Halbert says will only make matters worse. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
Lawmakers haven't officially filed Safer Kentucky yet. Representative Jason Nemes says nearly every Republican in Jefferson County has co-sponsored it. Well, the Safer Kentucky Act includes 20 policy provisions, and here are 3 highlights from the bill. It calls for heightened penalties for violent crimes like murder and carjackings. It seeks to give those convicted of a violent felony for the 3rd time life without parole. It would also allow the death penalty to be used if the 3rd violent felony is a capital offense. It would also charge drug dealers with murder if they sell fentanyl to someone who dies from it. And it would increase the penalty for attempted murder for those convicted who would serve at least 85% of their sentence before they were eligible for early release. Now, last month, Nemes defended the act.
Talk about prevention. Best way to prevent somebody from killing somebody is if they have a history of violence, put them behind bars. That's what this bill does.
All Jefferson County Republicans support the bill. Some Democrats argue Louisville's violent offender provision does enough. And tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear will look at the year ahead during his State of the Commonwealth address. WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez is in Frankfort right now covering the event, and we'll get a preview from him in just about an hour tonight at 6 o'clock. The speech will be delivered to a joint session of the State Senate and House of Representatives at 7. You can watch it live on WHAS11.com or the WHAS 11 app, courtesy of KET, with a full wrap-up and response from Republican leaders at 11 on the WHAS 11 night team.
More local news here tonight at 5. A man who police believe was involved in a Louisville murder was found and arrested in the state of Alabama. You may remember Louisville Metro Police were looking for this man, 37-year-old Lamar Jones. He was wanted in connection to the shooting death of Therese Curitan on August 15th of this year. It happened at 26th and Market. Curitan was a married father to 6 children. According to Metro Police, Jones was arrested in Florence, Alabama. Also new tonight, a man was arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman at gunpoint. Metro Police posted this saying 22-year-old Christopher Thompson was identified using DNA from the scene. According to LMPD, the original report came in July of last year. A woman said a man held her at gunpoint, assaulted her, and then drove her to an ATM where he made her withdraw money. This happened on Yazoo Street over the summer. That's the same area where WHAS 11 News reported that at least 7 different women were reported being assaulted and robbed. Police released these photos over the summer, warning women in southwestern Jefferson County. LMPD says that they cannot confirm if this is the same man responsible for the string of other assaults. Those cases do remain open.
Former Kentucky Attorney General and the Republican nominee for governor in 2023, Daniel Cameron, has a new job. He will be the CEO of the 1792 Exchange. And according to the group's website, the 1792 Exchange is a nonprofit organization that, quote, preserves freedom by partnering with allies to steer public companies back to neutral. On ideological issues, the organization publishes what it calls spotlight reports, which rates thousands of companies on their social or political stances on issues. In a statement released today, Cameron said he is honored to serve as the organization's CEO.
More turnover to tell you about at Louisville's animal shelter. After less than a year on the job, the Louisville Metro Animal Services current director is now stepping the job, leaving that position. According to the mayor's office today, the current director, Ashley Book, is moving out of Metro government later this month. The city says she will still volunteer with Louisville Metro Animal Services. They say they expect to announce a new interim director for the shelter soon. Book has been in the role since April of this past year. Before that, she served as the interim director. It was very cold last night, so much so I had to scrape windows this morning. It's been a long time since I've
You
had,
wake up too early.
I had to scramble to find the
Did you know where your scraper was?
No,
Tell
of
the
course,
truth.
of course not.
You wake up way too early for working this late, Doug.
I can't find mine either, I'll be honest.
Well, you know, don't ever put hot water on your window, right?
No, I know that.
Big
I know
mistake.
that.
And we've all seen that happen over the years. Colleen, don't
Yeah.
you do that.
No, I don't. I learned quick, you know. We have another cold night ahead. In fact, a cold front is passing through. As we speak tonight, good news is that there's no precipitation with it. It's just going to bring our temperatures back to the mid-20s early Friday morning. So we have some cold nights ahead. Dark skies right now, almost. That sun is about to set, but we are seeing those clouds build yet again with that approaching front. We did get a nice day. We had plenty of sunshine out there. Right now, temperatures hovering in the mid-40s around Jefferson County, 44 at the All International. Across the river, a little cold in Seymour at 36 degrees, 38 in Bardstown right now. So this is that front that I'm talking about, just going to bring us a spurt of some cold air and some clouds behind that system. So closer look at the radar. There's nothing out there. We are seeing a mix of clouds starting to build, especially across the river in Indiana. So we'll start out with some clouds tomorrow morning, temperatures in the upper 20s, but the sunshine will return even though our temperatures are going to stay in the low 40s and upper 30s tomorrow, so a little bit below average. Now, our system that we're going to be watching here is this Saturday. That low pressure is going to form, moving across the central plains, bringing snow to the north side of that system and rain to the south. So impacts here in Kentuckiana are going to be very minimal. We are right on that divide between seeing rain and snow. I'm going to time it out a little bit closer and talk about what we can see this upcoming Saturday coming up.